The following portion of Daytime is sponsored by Hive Outdoor.
It's safe to say we deal with plenty of severe weather here in Florida, and after a storm, you may not realize it's important to call the pros for help with restoring your pool. Here to tell us more about pool damage and restoration is Robert Foster, the owner of Hive Outdoor. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you did well after any recent storms and things like that,
yeah,
right?
we made it, which is good. So now we can kind of help other people. So we're excited about that.
Oh, that's good. All right, so talk to me. How can contaminated water affect a pool's finish?
Well, once it sits in there for any length of time, it starts to stain the finish. So it's really important to get it out of there as soon as possible.
All right, what are the proper steps maybe that someone should go about to make sure that their pool will be in good shape for a long time after a storm?
Right. Well, the first thing is you want to get all of that water out of there and get it filled with fresh water. And you just want to make sure that you do the process correctly, which is stabilizing the pool to make sure it doesn't pop out of the ground.
Okay, what types of service providers are actually equipped so people know they're calling the right folks after a storm to help them out with their pool?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people are using just maintenance guys, but they're really not the correct guys because they normally don't carry the proper credentials to do that. So usually general contractors that are used to dealing with pools and, building the pools that are, that they know about water conditions and stuff like that, they're usually the correct people.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about that. We want to make sure we lead everyone in the right direction. What are some of the qualifications that we should look for before we sign a contract to get someone to help us out with our pool?
Yeah, see, the biggest thing is, people here in Florida don't realize that the concrete pool can actually float out of the ground. So the water table being high, when people drain that pool down, it just pops out of the ground. Right. So what you want to make sure is, first of all, that the company knows what they're doing. Second of all, is that they're licensed and insured. But the real important thing, and I can't emphasize this enough, is that they have pool poppers insurance.
What exactly is that?
So pool poppers insurance, if somebody accidentally does pop the pool out of the ground, which happens even with professionals, that specifically covers that, right? And I think that we all know right now that insurance companies are trying to do anything that they can to avoid responsibility. So if somebody accidentally pops a pool out of the ground right now and they don't have pool poppers coverage, you're just not going to get it covered. And you really can't do anything about the pool anymore. You have to tear the whole thing out and start over.
Oh my goodness. So if you could say maybe what is the most commonly overlooked thing that pool owners after a storm may have happen, the number one thing that they should be on the lookout for maybe?
Just somebody coming and convincing them that it's easy and that they're just going to drain the water and get it back up and going and fill it. That's the biggest thing. We have a couple of calls a year. Forget about storms. We have a couple of calls a year about people calling up and saying, oh my gosh, I popped my pool out of the ground, just because they don't understand that a pool will actually come out of the ground. So that's the biggest thing, really.
Yeah, I've learned something here today. All right. Thank you so much for being here. We sure appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. And for more information or to schedule an appointment, you can visit hiveoutdoor.com or call the number 813-579-2444. Daytime will be right back.
The preceding portion of Daytime was sponsored by Hive Outdoor.